Hi all, I am back with new video. This is a full version of Typescript tutorial. Let's start. As it said, it is starting from the basic level to advanced level. So if you are the beginner, you having already TypeScript knowledge, still you can view this video. It having the enough and deep knowledge about entire TypeScript. Let's start. This is our agenda of this tutorial. Type annotation, variable and scope, data types, conditions and looping, interface, class, namespace, modules, generic, and what is tsconfig.json, why we are using it. Okay, this is the overall topic. It having the subtopic in all the level, so you can have a deep knowledge about everything. Are you curious? Okay, let's start our tutorial. Okay, first I said type annotation. Do you have an idea anything about type annotation? Yes, as the name describes, the type annotation is a detailed description about something. I mean the data type. So, do you have an idea about the annotation, right? It is a description or extra information about something. So, the type annotation giving the extra information about the type. Let me see our examples. I am going to create one sample file to go through this. I am creating sample.ts. In previous video, if you not go through that, there I have explained what is the purpose of entire TypeScript, where it got invented, why it is very important. So in that video, I have explained what is the extension of this and how it going to compile that. If you are not seen that, please watch those videos so you will get an idea. Okay, let's run. Here I am creating one variable called var a equal to 1. Okay. Here we are not specifying the data type. So the type annotation is giving the information about this variable. So what is the type of this variable? So we can give a data type like this. For specifying the data type, after this variable or after the function or after the parameter name, we can give a colon and we can specify the data type of particular variable. Okay, what is the purpose of this? Let me run this. Okay, before that, the purpose is like I have defined as a number, right? Here I am trying to assign one string. You can immediately you can see a error. String is not assignable to type. Even I didn't compile how it is because of this extension. So instead of this extension, if I change to JS, I won't get an error because the JS it's not fully type libeless. So here you can see I am getting the error here number because the JS don't having the concept of type annotation and data type specification. Okay, you are clear? Simply the type annotation is a extra information about the data type of particular variable or parameter or function return type. This is type annotation. The type annotation we will define as a colon and particular type. You are clear? Okay, let's move on to the next one. Variable and scope. Like JavaScript, here also we can able to declare the variable. Like other languages, we will specify the variable. Like same way we can able to declare the variable. What are the ways to create the variable? One is using the var variable name. Maybe I can give some counter. It is my variable name. You can give any name. Also, here you can you can specify the data type. Actually, in proper way you have to specify the particular data type. Here you can able to create using let. The third way using const. Let me go with some other type. Don't worry for the timing about data type. I will explain you in upcoming session. Okay, here I have declared the three variables. What is the difference between these three variables? The first one, let me show you an. See here, I have created one function sample. Here I am having the variable counter. In I am having one if loop. Actually, it is always true if loop. Here I am having the two variable using the let keyword, also the constant keyword. You can see in this here I am not getting any exception. Okay, but here I am getting the exception because the counter cannot be find, because the let and constants are the scope variable, but the var, if you are using the var, that is a functional variable. For example, even if I declare var here, still it is in the scope of local, but still I am not getting the error because it is available in the entire function. Maybe if I try to access this one in outside of the function, I will get an error. You can see it because, so you can remember, the var is a functional scope, meaning entire function you can able to access. If you are using the let, it is a immediate scope, I mean the parenthesis scope. The constant also it's same like a let. So what is the difference between this constant? I declare one variable and assign the value. I am trying to override that one. Let me try. Yeah, it is string only, right? Okay, here you can see cannot assign the, because it is a constant. You got it? Now you are clear what is a variable, how we can able to define. Actually the purpose of variable, you having idea? Actually it is a like addressing of the allocation memory. For example, here you have defined var counter equal to number 1. So what will happen? The this data type already having some set of memory allocation. For example, if you are defining the number, if you are defining boolean, every data type having own memory allocation predefined one. It is not only in the TypeScript or JavaScript, it is common for all the programming languages. So while declaring our variable like var counter colon number, so it will create one memory for this variable, and for that memory they will create one address called that using that name. So whenever we are trying to call this name, it will point to the particular address. So the variable is a pointer or address to the allocated memory. Data type is a allocating the predefined memory. Okay, you are clear? Yeah, okay, let me move on to the next one. What we about next? Yeah, data type. Actually, it is like it will support multiple data types. In JavaScript, if you having the idea, it having some limited type of data types like number, string, boolean, but the TypeScript having multiple types. Let me start with the string. What is string? Actually we already having the idea. So here we seen it, right? If you are declaring any variable, let me remove this. Here I have defined the same function called sample. It having the variable name, it having the string data type. So it will accept only the string values. For example, if I try to upon some numeric value, it will throw an error because it is a strongly data type, so we could not able to assign. So actually this is the main benefit of TypeScript. It is a fully type based. Okay, let me run and will show you. Okay, for running the TypeScript application, first we have to compile. For compiling, I am using the TSC. This is a TypeScript compiler I have already installed. If you are not having it, install it. If you don't having the idea how to install, see my Node.js video or tutorial 1 of TypeScript. You will get a clear idea. Okay, now it will generate see here, it will generate one JS file, same name what we have done it here. Okay, let me run this JS file because we could not able to directly run the TypeScript file. Okay, for running this JS file I am using the node. If you having the even you can able to run it on developer tool also. That's your availability. Okay, you can see here you are watching Njan tutorial. Let me change in this file. Instead of this Njan, let me try you are watching favorite video. Okay, here I change it to favorite video. Let me recompile this. Whenever you are changing the ts file, you have to recompile. Now if you go to the sample.json file, it got updated. So now we are going to run this js file. Okay, we got it. So here I am using the plus operator to concatenate this, but there will be a concept in TypeScript that is called template string. What is template string? You can directly use the variable. So instead of this double quotes, you have to use your backticks. It is if you are using the laptop, it will be about to the tab key. Okay, I'm just removing these things, it's not needed now. As where our favorite has to assign here, right? Here you have to mention dollar. In the dollar you have to specify like open curly brace and close curly brace. In this curly brace you can specify your dynamic name. Here our dynamic placeholder is our variable. Okay, let me try again. Okay, first we have to compile it. You can see here, if you are go to this js file, it got appended. Okay, you are clear now. Okay, what are the other types we having it? The next one is boolean. Okay, the same way we can, here you can see there will be a two different types of boolean. One is with the capital B, another one is small b. What is the difference between this? Actually the capital B is a object, the small b is a normal primitive data types. So usually we will prefer this boolean. Then what is the purpose of this boolean? I will show you what is that. Before that we will see these types of both. You can see here while hovering I am getting the capital B is interface, the small b I am not getting anything because it is a primitive data type. Okay, actually here I could not able to run because while running we will get, because we will convert our ts to js, right? So it will automatically remove this type. That's the reason here we could not able to check the type of. While coming up upcoming videos I will show you, because those time we will use the some bundler concept, some compiler, so build mechanism, right? Those time we can able to explain you, I will show you that. Okay, here you can notice in till previous steps I used one by one. Here I used the combined code. You can see for combine the both command I used the pipeline. Okay, okay, let me move on to the next. So this is boolean. The boolean is a accept only the true or false value. If we having the capital B, also the small b. Okay, array. Okay, what is an array? The array is a collection of element. For example, if I want to store an array, what we will do in JavaScript? We will do like this, right? We will store 1, 2, 3. Okay. If I print it here, I will get an value. I can able to loop and iterate it, and we can able to print it, right? Okay. Let me try. Here we are getting 1 to 3 value. Okay, like the way you can able to specify the array value here. Okay, for example it is a number, so I am declaring as a number as a data type. We will get an array because this type is simply a number, not the number array. So how we can able to do that? We can able to declare like this. So now the flag one, maybe I can change the name to some ARR like that. Okay, so the same name will get here. So this is a number array. Okay, for example, let me try to add one more value here. For adding the element, we will use the push, right? Okay, here I am doing some string I am trying to install. While inserting, I am getting the error. It is throwing error like 123 is not assignable to the parameter type of number. Okay, let me forcefully compile this. Oh, while compiling, we will get an error here. See here, I am getting the error. The argument of type 1 to 3 is not assignable to the parameter of type number. Okay, why I didn't get the error previously? Because I run the two commands, so it executed immediately. Okay, so for this kind of case, we will do one by one. Okay, let me try to add boolean. It won't accept, definitely, because it won't do that. Okay, for example, there will be case I have to assign all the values to this array. So because I don't know what value will come, so in that case you can go with any data type. We will discuss one by one on the time. Now you can see it is accepting. Okay, for example, this array has to accept string and numerical. This is called multi value array, multi value array, or multi type array. Actually, it is not the multi value, it is a multi type array. So in that case, how we can able to do that? Do you have any idea? No? Okay. Let me show you. Number on one pipeline string. Okay. Here I am trying to assign one string Njan. Why we are getting array? Because after this we have to specify it is a array. Okay. Now you can see we are not getting any error here. If I run this, we will get a successful result. See here, we are getting entirely. So this is called a multi-type array. Okay. There will be another way to create an array. What is that? That is called using the class name array. In angle bracket, you can specify string. For our case, it is number. Let me using number. So for the time, let me command this and check that. This is one more way to you can create your array. You can see here we are getting the value. So here how we can able to achieve multi-type? Same way we can add pipeline here and specify another type. Okay. Now I am uncommenting this. Let me run. We are getting the data. You are clear now? Actually, this array will array and string all the data types having the lots of predefined methods like join, concat, length, like multiple things are there. I think you can go through that one by one based on your need. For the timing, the entire base understanding and high level understanding is enough for you to play with everything. Okay, let me move on to the next type. Tuple. What is tuple? Do you have any idea? It is a multi value variable. Okay, what is multi value? Maybe I can keep this one so that you can able to differentiate what is tuple, what is an array. Okay, let me define one more variable where t, for mentioning the tuple you should use the square bracket here, because in multi-type we will specify that this bracket also in angle bracket, right? Here we will specify square bracket. In the square bracket you can define any number of, for example, here I define 2. Here in square bracket I will specify 1 comma 2. So now this variable will have the value of 1 also 2. Okay, what is the difference between these both? Actually in array you can able to push any number of element, but in tuple you can't. It is a defined one. This t will going to return or able to assign only the two values. The two values type is number and number type. How we can able to access this value or value? Simply like this. Okay, maybe if you can able to have a multi data types also, you can have. So in this case you will get an error. The based on this same sequence you have to assign the value. Okay, you are clear? The tuple going to return the only the single set of element. In tuple you can have any number of data types. Based on the data type and same sequence you can able to assign the values. But in array not like that. You can in multi-type array you can based on those data type you can have a value. You can able to have multiple rows of value. It is not restricted with the single row like that. For example, here I am pushing Njan, again I can able to push the same, but in tuple I can't do like that. You are clear? Okay, let me move on to the next one. What is enum? Before moving to this, I can show you in tuple itself you can able to create an array like this. If you are defining like this, your value will be like array of 1 comma, actually it is a string, right? Let me change to engine. We having only one string like that. Maybe going forward we will try to change that one. Yeah, now you are clear, right? It is a tuple array. The array is different, tuple is different, multi-type array is different, tuple array is different. You are clear? Okay, we will move on to the enum. What is an enum? Actually enum is a one custom type. Let me show you. Here you can see I have declared one enum called department. This is a syntax for defining the enum. Enum is a keyword, then the enum name, and you can specify the opening and closing curly braces. In these curly braces you can have any number of string with the comma separated. Okay, for example, some set of grouping of information you can have it like this. For example, if you are specifying as a string, why enum is needed? If you are using the string in development of large level of course, here you will specify it as a caps. In somewhere you will specify small it. While comparing it won't work. So this kind of miscommunication, so misleading of programming. So we are using the enum. Actually, it having more and more help in really in development. Okay, let me run and see that what's going to return this one. See here, if I run this, it is returning 2. Let me open the JS. It having anything different? See here, that enum, actually in JavaScript there is no concept of enum. The what we have declared as a enum, the same enum converter like this. Okay, whatever it is, we could not able to like this much of complex code for creating the event. Really, that's the reason the Typescript got very grown. Okay, why we are getting the 2? Because the position of the thing is 2. Actually the enum is having the 3 types. One is numeric enum, another one string enum, the third one heterogeneous. Let we look what is the numeric enum. The numeric enum, by default the enum is a numeric enum. Even you can able to specify here the value like 3. Let me check now what is the output. It is 5. What we are printing, it is actually by default it will be start from 0 1 2, but here we have assigned 3, right? That's the reason it come like 3 4 5. Even we can able to specify individual. If I specify 7, so what is the value of CSE? It should be 8. Okay, you are clear? This is called numeric enum. What about the string enum? You can able to specify the value, string value here. Let me check it, ECE and CSE. Now let me check. See here we are getting the string. This is called string enum. What about the heterogeneous enum? You can able to specify string with also number. So it is a combination of string numeric enum and string enum. So in that case, what will be our output? Exactly 2, because we have specified 2 here. Okay, you are clear now about the enum. Okay, let me move on to the next one. Union. What is union? The union is a actually see here I have declared a variable called a, it having the data type of number. I know this a going to have a number or string. In that case, I maybe there is a only possibility that I can specify any. But if I specify any, there will be a possibility to assign boolean also. So in that case, what I can do, anyway I know this variable a going to have a only two data type, I mean do two data types value. So in that case, instead of specifying any, you can do multiple supportable data type, like I told, right? Numeric string. So this is a syntax for specifying the union. So the union is here one of the unique data type. Using that, we can able to assign multiple data type support to the particular variable. Now see, I am assigning the a here one. Let me try to assign string variable Njan. I am not getting any error. Okay, even though if I run, what will be the output now? Exactly Njan. Why? Because here I am overriding that one. You are clear? Next is about any. Any I already told, right? If you are not aware of the uh, value what we are going to assign, so you can specify any. So it will support all the data type. You can able to assign numeric, string, boolean, everything like this. It won't throw an error. Actually, mostly whenever you are using this any, try to minimize the usage of any, because the main concept why we are using these data types and all, making the type safety. So don't use simply. Okay, you are clear about the any? Yeah. Okay, let me move on to the next. Void. When the void is needed, for example, if the variable, I don't want to assign any variable, any value except undefined, even I try to assign null, it is accepting. Let me try to assign undefined, it is accepting. So when you have defined, it not going to assign any value except null and undefined, you can define the variables data type as void. Actually till now we have discussed only about the variable and type. Actually these all data types will come as a return type of some function too, like this. So here the return type will be specified after the function signature, like with the colon and particular. Here it may be a void or any. Even if I specify any, you will get an any error here. Okay, because it is not returning anything, right? So those kind of logic here. So you are clear now about the void. The void, if you are declaring any variable as a void, so it is going to have a value of null or undefined. Let me try to assign empty value. Actually it won't accept, because the empty also is a one string. Okay, you are clear? Okay, now let me move on to the next topic, that is called never. What is never? When you are be sure that's not going to assign any value, then you can specify never. Okay, let me keep this one so that you can have an idea what is the difference between void and never. Actually you may get confused why they are using these data types. If actually in real there will be a some logic behind of that. If you are developing the large level of ts files, those in depth, you will get an usage of this. Okay, here you can maybe, let me change to b, same variable, right? Here you can see you could not assign undefined to for this variable. Even let me try with null, you can't. So same way you can, whenever this particular function never going to return anything, you can specify the return type of never, including it is not returning undefined also. Okay, you are clear? Okay, we have completed this data type portion. Let me start with condition and looping. The first condition, the same like other, maybe here I have declared the same function. Right now I am having the parameter. You can specify the data type for that parameter. Now I am declaring as a number. Okay, see here I am having the one if condition. If a greater than 5, then I am printing you have entered value greater than 5. Okay, this is a syntax like JavaScript. The TypeScript also having this same kind of syntax. Let me run, let me check. See here we are getting the output. Okay, you are clear? So same way, if the value is less than or equal to 5, I have to say, see here we are getting, you have entered the value less than 5. Okay, so what about if it is 5? So we have to specify, right? So those situation we can go with else if. So what is our else if condition? A equal to 5, exactly. See here we are getting, you have entered value 5. You are clear? Okay, what about next? Switch statement. The same way we can convert to switch. Let me try. See here I am having the switch condition. The switch always will have multiple cases. The cases, here I am using numeric, right? So the case will be numeric. Here I am using the string variable, the case value will be string. Okay, so if I change here string, we will get an error. Okay, because our condition is in numeric. Now we having the default whenever the all the mentioned cases is not satisfied, so it will came to the default. So why we are specifying the break? Because if the loop came to the case 1, if we are not specifying the break, it will execute case 2 too. That's the reason we are segregating by the break. You are clear? Okay, in by default I have specified it is out of control. Here I am having only 1 to 2 case. I hope you are clear. This is and all, it's common for all the programming languages, if else switch. Okay, looping, let me discuss about for and while. See here we are using the for loop. The first one is increment part, second one is condition, the third one is decrement or increment part. Here I am printing it, here I am having the collection, so one by one I am looping it. So we get the output. This is for. Let me move on to the for each and for off. See here, first we are using the for in loop. So as in JavaScript tutorial told, the in is going to return only the key. So that's the reason we are using the collection with the index of key. So it is a for off loop. The for off loop will return the exact particular element. This is the again for each loop. It is like using the array and arrow function we are doing like this. You can see the everywhere we are getting the same output. I hope you are clear this one. Okay, let me move on to the next. See here I am having the one variable. Here in this while loop I am having the condition. If it is less than a dot length, because I am starting from the 0, I am doing the loop. When this loop will get terminated, this condition getting false. So first time it will print when we are reaching 40, the time the counter will be 0 1 2 3 4. When it came to 5, it is when came to 4, it is less equal to the length, so it will get terminated. I hope these things are very common and similar to other programming language. So don't worry about that. If you're having the any doubt, you can put it on comment. I will give the clear explanation over there. Okay, let me move on to the interface. What is interface? You having any idea? If you're having the any programming language with concept of oops, you definitely will having the idea of interface. If it is a Java or C Sharp, everywhere it's there, right? Okay. An interface is a typescript artifact. An interface is a concrete on function or classes. You are clear? Why? I know you are not clear. Okay, I will show you how we have to declare the interface. So it is a interface is keyword. We can give name like employee. This interface type you can have a like variable and function definition alone. Sorry, signature alone, not the definition. Actually, you could not have the definition of the function here. Just a signature alone you can have it. Okay, let me declare. So see here, I have declared two variable in the interface. Even the interface would not have the value of any variable. Okay, so also you could not able to declare where or let in this interface. Okay, it should be without any those specification. Okay, I have declared it. Okay, so what will happen? For example, I am having one variable, one more variable called sample. In this sample I can specify this interface as a type. So I have declared. What next? So if I want to assign the value, I am assigning like this. See here, I have assigned one object. It having the this two variable. Here you can get an error because the y is not assignable, because it should be same name. If I change to b, it will work. It is not throwing an error. So it should be in the same name. Also it should be in the same data type of value. You could not change. For example, instead of 1 I could not change string here. So I will get an error. So this is a type. Actually this interface not only using for this, in classes we will do the implementation of this interface. Let me move on to the next. Those tutorial you can about clear about this interface. See here, like the way I have declared, this is a function signature alone. Here I am not specifying the function name. Simply I have defined the signature like one variable. That variable should have the numeric data type. So here you can see the employee interface is assigned to one variable as a data type. This data type is getting assigned this test function. So if I add any variable here like number, I will get an error because our signature should be matched exactly. So it is an error. Like the way if I change to string, we will get an error because it could not accept. So like the way in interface itself you can specify the return type too. For example, here I specified boolean, but here I am not returning anything. So it will throw an error. So we have to return specify the boolean. So if I change like this, let me change true. Yeah, see here, it's not throwing the error. So interface we can have a variable or function signatures. So whenever we are assigning or implementing, it should be mandatory to do the implementation for those items. Okay, you are clear? Okay, let me move on to the next. We are going to discuss about the class. Actually the JavaScript inbuilt having the features of oops concept, but implementing those things are very complex. So in TypeScript, those complex oops items are very simplified like this using the class interface everything. So if you having the idea about the C# or Java, you can easily drive on this. For creating the class, this is a syntax. The class is a keyword and our class name. In this class you can have any number of parameters, functions, things. Let me create one function. I have declared one method like this. So here you no need to specify the function keyword here because it is a within class we are defining it. Let me run. We won't get any output. Actually you can see that we are not getting. Why? Because we have defined the class, but we are not creating the object and we are not calling this method. That's the reason. Okay, how we can able to create the object? You can have like any object name. Let me have like this new class name. Okay, now I try to access method of that. Okay, let me rerun again. You can see, hi, I am from display method. You are clear? Like the way you can have variable where I equal to 10. No need of data type actually. I mean not the data type, that declaration of keyword where those things. So let me print this. See here, I am getting 10 also this because here I can using the object I can able to access that. Okay. So without this object, how we can create any number of object for same class. Okay, there will be a no common properties over there. For example, instead of this I can able to specify static keyword here. If I specify the static keyword, I will get an error because the static properties or methods only accessible using the class name. Let me try to access this one. Okay. Okay, before that I will move on to this JSON. You have to see how this class converted into this existing one. See here, they have created one functional wrapper. In this functional wrapper they have defined named functions, prototype displays. They are doing lots of logic inbuilt, but simply in TS we are doing like this. So let me run. You can see, like the way you can specify the static methods too. If you are mentioning as a static method, you should not use to object. It should be using the class name only you can able to call. You are clear? Okay. Let me implement one interface. For example, here we having the interface called employee. Let me implement. For implementing that, you can see here I have implemented this interface. For implementing the interface, we can specify implement is a keyword. This is the interface name. Here I am getting the error. Why? I am not implement this method. So if I change to like, let me remove this static because it should not be static. Here I am specifying some a number. Okay. And return type should be boolean, right? This is our interface is having. Let me return just a false. Okay. Actually, for implementing the interface, here we will specify the name of the particular method. Actually, if we are using this as a type for any variable or object, we can specify without method name, because if you are specifying the method name, you should exactly having the same methods. So that's the reason here I am declaring the method name. Here I am implementing. Okay, let me access this object dot employee dot display, right? Display. Okay, we have to pass one boolean, any integer number. Let me pass that one 10. See here, we got a output. Okay, you are now clear using the interface and class. Okay, see here, we having the two class now. The first class is implement the interface of employee. The second class is employee details 2. It is inheriting employee detail 1. Okay, this is a base class, it is a derived class. Whenever you are using this inheritance, you should define the constructor. The constructor is a keyword to define like this. You know the purpose of constructor, right? In that constructor, first line you have to specify the super keyword. Whenever you are calling this method, automatically the base class get initialized. So it is very mandatory. So here you can see I am having the display2 method. In that method I am calling the previous method class using the this operator. Why I can able to access using the this operator? Because I am doing the inheritance. If I run the code, I am getting the output like from the, but here you can see I am creating the object only for this second class. I am trying to access this method, but I am getting called this method. I am getting this output. So you are clear about this class and inheritance. Am I right? Good. The next one we are going to discuss about the access specifier. So you can able to specify the access specifier like in the class property. For example, here I am having the function add. By default, it is a public. That's the reason the public method or property can able to access in the while creating the object also the inheritance derived class. So let me try to change private. So if I change private, so immediately we will get an error. You can see this error. The property add is a private, only accessible within the class. So I can able to access only this class. So I can able to add only here. If I access here, I won't get an error. But I could not able to access using the object. Let me try with the this dot here. This is a derived class, right? See here, I am not getting that object in the this property because it is due to this access specifier. I am not able to change it. Okay. What about the producted? If I specify the producted, still I am hitting the error on object, but we are not getting the error internally. I mean the same class. Okay. Let me try with the derived class. This dot add. We can able to access the add. So there are majorly three access specifier. One is public. By default it is a public data type. The second one is a private. If you are specifying the private, you can able to access only the particular class. You could not able to access in derived class or using the object. The third one, if you are specifying the productor, you can able to access within the class also the derived class. You are clear? Okay. The next one is abstract class. So what is abstract class? The abstract class can have the abstract method, also other method. What is the abstract method? The abstract method, whenever we are specifying as a particular method as abstract, it should have only the signature. It should not have the method definition. So what's the purpose? Same way like interface, we can able to extend the class. So whenever we are inserting this class, definitely this abstract method has to be has the definition on the derived class. So the major difference between interface and the abstract class is interface can have only the signature of the methods, but the abstract class can have the signature of abstract methods, also have non other than abstract methods. So you can see it here, right? Here I am having the display method with the definition. Still I am can able to access here also. Also I am having the abstract method definition. I mean signature. Here while implementing, if I don't have this method, I will get an error. You can see it here. Non-abstract class does not implement the inheritance of method. Okay. Also one more thing. The abstract method, you could not able to create the object for this abstract method. You can see the error here. Cannot create the instance for the abstract class. Okay. You are clear now? So this is the syntax for having the abstract. So for example, also one more thing, all the abstract methods should be in the abstract class. Okay, you are clear? I hope you are clear. Okay, let me move on to the next topic. Here you can see in the same class I have declared two different types of function. This is called function name. I am assigning the anonymous function. When the function don't having the function name, that is called anonymous function. In this approach I am assigning the anonymous function to the one function name. Still I can able to access here. This is a way you already know. Without specifying the function keyword, we are declaring it. Still I can able to access this. These are two types of declaring the function within the particular class. Okay, you know already about the variable. Variable can have the any number of variable we can able to declare. It may be any data type. Okay, what is optional parameter? For example, if you want to make it as an optional parameter, see here, I am removing one parameter, but it throwing an error because the add having the declaration of two parameter. How we can able to specify? For example, if I am having the value of b, it has to accept. Even though if it don't have the value, it has to accept. In that case, we can go with optional parameter. Optional parameter denoted with the question mark. After the variable name, we will specify the question mark and then followed by the data type. So now see, it's not throwing an error. This is optional parameter. Also, we made it a optional parameter. Okay, what is the default value? See here, the one way is you can specify as a question mark to make it as optional. Another way is you can specify default value. So for example, if I run this code, see here, we are getting 15 and 15. How it happened? We are passing only 10, right? How this be getting the value of 5? That's the reason it's getting added and 15. Even if I passing 10 comma 20, so in that case it will be 30 because that time it won't consider the default value. Okay, you are clear about that? In class we have discussed about the what is class, how to implement the interface on class, meaning how to extend it, then inheritance, abstract class, what else? Constructor, what is superkeyword, what is the purpose of that, then access specifier and functions declaration formats in the class and optional parameter, default value and object creation, static variable. This much things we have discussed about the class. You are clear, right? Good. Next we are going to discuss about the namespace. What is namespace? Actually the namespace is a functional wrapper. For example, I am having the one class employee details. I am going to have another one employee details class. So in that case I can have a namespace like employee group. So in that case all this class I can able to cover under one single umbrella. So I hope you having the namespaces in C#, right? Some wrapper, functional wrapper. So if you are specifying this, you will get wrapper. So I have make a wrapper of namespace. Now this all the right now I am having the one class. It may be a multiple logical grouping of class under one namespace. So in that case, if I try to access that class in outside of the namespace, I will get an error because it could not able to find. So in that case, what we can do? I am trying to access using the namespace name. So here we have to do export of this class and namespace, then only we can able to access this. Let me run. See here we are getting the expected output 30 and 40. The export don't worry about now. I will explain you on next upcoming topics. So here you can see this functional wrapper and how the namespace is getting converted and class is handled, everything. Okay. For now, you can understand the namespace is a logical grouper. For declaring the namespace, we have to use the namespace as a keyword and one namespace name followed by the opening curly braces and closing curly braces. All the logical grouping items has to be placed in the namespace. So if you want to access the namespace property or namespace grouping item outside of the namespace, we have to use the namespace dot particular name, but it should be exported both, then only we can able to access it. Okay, you are clear? Next we are going to talk about the modules. What is modules? How the modular are getting segregated, why it is needed. For example, in the real-time application we will have the large number of files. It could not be a single file. It may be a 10, 20, even sometimes the above 50 files. So we could not keep all the files in the single JS or TS files. So that's the reason the modules are getting implemented. So based on modules, you can keep it as a separate files. We can do the sharing of those files using this modular. You can call from one module function to other module. Okay, how we can able to do that? For achieving the module in TS we having the two keywords, that is called import and export. So for example, here I am having the sample.ts file. Here I declare the method called add. In sample I am having one more file called sample1.ts. Here I have declared function add2. So in this function I am trying to call the add. Let me do this. Let me check how it's going to work. See here, I am getting the error add is not defined. Why? Because the add declared in the sample.ts, but I am trying to access that in sample1.ts. Okay, how we can able to access now? Using the export. Using the export keyword. See here, I am using the export keyword. I am before this function I am specifying export. So like the way in this file you can have any number of exports. So how we are going to access this? Using the import keyword. Here I am going to use the import of particular. What is our function name? Add, right? Add from where it is located dot sample. No need of specifying extension here. Let me rerun this. See here, now I am able to get the output. Okay. So the export, here I am doing the export, and here I am doing the import. Okay. Here you can have a like alias name. Using the as, you can create any alias name, like for example addition. So in that case, if you are creating the alias name, you should not use this name. You should use this addition. Okay, you are clear? So like the way, for example, I can able to export multiple files, right? Same thing. See here, I am having the 2 export. Okay, let me try to access this method on here. Sub, right? Sub of 10,25. Now while running, here I have specified sub. Let me remove this. You can see here I am getting the error. So how we can able to export this sub? Let me write in console. See here, we are getting 2 output. So this is the one way. What else we can do? Like instead of this, you can specify as a star. If you are specifying star, you should have alias name there. Maybe for example, I am having SAMP. So for these things, you should consider as a samp.add. Here samp.sub. It's behave as a object. So in that case, you no need to specify one by one here. If you are mentioning as a star, what are the things are exported on this module, it automatically get imported here. It will assign to this object. So you can able to get the values like this. Okay, you are clear now? Okay. Right now you can see we having the 2 files, right? We are running only the sample1.ts. So whenever we are running this, it automatically running the sample.js2. That's the reason we are getting 2 JS files. We are running only the sample1.ts. Meanwhile, it generating the 2 files. We are getting the 2 files, right? Why we have to? Instead of these 2 files, we need the only single file. I mean, this sample1.ts and sample.ts has to combine and has to be a one file. How we can? Yes, we can do that one too. Let me delete these 2 files so that you will be clear. For making the single file, you should specify after tsc -" out or out file. Here I am going to specify file name. Maybe I am specifying test.js. Okay. Here you have to, after that, you have to specify your files. What are the 2 files? Sample1.ts, sample.ts. Multiple files has to separated with the space. So now we will get an error. You can see that because we are developing as a modules. So for making the module in JavaScript, having multiple design patterns like framework kind of things, like AMD approach, using the common JS or Express. So we have to mention which type of module we are going to do that, AMD or system, how. So how we can able to specify? By default I am specifying as a module space AMD. Using the AMD approach, I am going to import. Now I am doing it. You can see test.js file got created, both has included. Okay, you are clear? Okay, think about one more thing. I am having one more file called sample3.js. instead of ts I am going to have js. Here I am having where a equal to 10. Okay, just I am having single variable. Maybe I can have sample3. Okay, just a numeric. I could not specify numeric here because it is a JS file. There will be a case like you have to combine this JS file too in this test.js. Let me delete this. So how we can, for example, here as I told, I could not specify one more file. Multiple files I told, right? We can specify as a with the space. So I am specifying it is a sample3.js, but it won't work. Why? Because by default it will build only the TS file. So what we can do? We have to allow the JS hyphen allow JS true. Now you can see, if you are moving this, see it here, all combined into one. Now you are clear? So for running this, we are doing this much command. So how we can able to simplify this? This all thing we can have it as a single config file, that is called ts config file. Actually in TypeScript there is a default config file is a tsconfig.json file. It is actually a JSON. In this JSON will have the set of key value pairs. How we can able to create the ts file? tsc, let me delete this. I will show you. tsc space hyphen init. So you will get an tsc config. By default it will have set of commanded property, also few more things. Here what are the things here made? We made module as AMT, right? So same thing, the allow JS true, we done it. Okay, what else we done? The module is here our AMT approach. Okay, so output file, what we have the name test, right? Test.js. Okay, now we have done this configuration. Let me run. For compiling now, only the tsc is enough. If you give the tsc, you can see one test.js created, it having all the things. So here you can able to specify, even if you want to have it this in one directory, I mean one folder, our output should be in one folder. You can configure like this. Let me delete this and recompile. So whenever you are specifying as a tsc, by default it will check the tsconfig.json file in the parent directory or root directory. So it will take those things are configurable. Okay, now our all the js and ts getting combined into this here in this folder. Now you are clear? That's all. This is a very major things from the TypeScript app set. One more thing has to discuss, that is a one advanced level. Let me discuss that too. See here, I am having the one function called display. It going to just to print the parameter. Okay, here I am declaring as a number. Maybe in future I am having one more need. I have to specify pass as a one string. Okay, in that case it won't accept, but it has to accept in the, we having the need like that. So what is the only possibility? We can able to specify any here, but still I previously told, if you are specifying any, it is not that much type safety. So what else we having it? That is called generic. So you can have a generic declaration here. For making the generic, you can specify like t. So in that case, while calling the method, you can specify the what is your data type. So here I am specifying as a string. See here, I have done it. Let me run. Let's see, we will get our output. Created the file. Let me call that file node space. Actually, it is not in our direct root folder, so we have to specify node space dist, right? The dist test. Okay. Here we are getting some define is not defined. So because if you are opening this here, you can able to see the define. So how we can able to achieve this? For making this, we have to use some reference files, like record.js, like the way for achieving the our AMT approach. We will have some module loader files, right? Those things has to refer. Okay, for the timing I am just removing this module and I will show you the some example. Maybe let me delete these all files. See here, while running this we are getting the output. If you are opening this JS file, you can able to see the data, but here it is accepting. This is called generic. Actually, using this generic, you can able to have a generic in class. Also you can have a generic in methods what we having it, like even the parameters, even you can able to specify in interface too. This is a actually this is a overall item of entire TypeScript. What are the things we have discussed? Let we summarize one times. Data types, type annotation, variable and scope, data types, condition and looping, interface, class, namespace, module, generic and TS config. All those things we were discussed very detailed and deep planning. Okay, I hope you are very clear. If you having any doubt, you can put your clarification on the comment window. I am always available.